Hey everyone, welcome back to the Nursing Resume Clinic. In this video, we're going to go over adding clinical experience, professional experience, and volunteer experience to the resume. I'll spend the most time talking about clinical experience because that is a section that everyone will have. So let me jump right in. So clinical experience will go right under your education section or your related coursework, depending on how you have your resume outlined already. The clinical section, by the end of your time here at Widener, you're going to have 8 clinicals listed in this section. It's going to take up 9 lines on your resume, but it's very important to have this information because recruiters look for this. They want to know the name of your clinical, the hospitals that you worked in, the location of the hospital, and the amount of hours you spent at each clinical. They also want to know when you started and stopped. So you'll see on the dates, they're explaining months and years that the clinicals took place, not semesters or seasons. I would get in this habit because applicant tracking systems look for months and years, not necessarily seasons. And plus, when you graduate, your life won't really be categorized by semester anymore. So you'll say, you know, the month and the year that you started and stopped a professional experience. The way that this is formatted right now is in the most kind of like compact way. Right now, at this stage in your journey as a nurse, you guys may or may not have started your first clinical yet. And that's totally fine. You can add the clinicals to your resume that you plan to do this semester and put the month that you're going to start and then put it to present. As you go through and you experience your clinicals, then you're going to start adding bullet points using that action, verb, task, impact format. Because at this stage, you know, by the end of this semester, you'll have had 2, I believe, and you'll have the space to add bullet points to each of those experiences. By the time you're a senior, your resume, remember, only has to be 1 page. So you're not going to have the space to add bullet points to every single clinical experience. So based on the type of healthcare experience you've had during your time at Widener, you might choose to bullet point certain clinical experiences, or you might choose to not bullet point your clinical experiences and save that space for maybe a professional experience you had, such as an externship or a part-time job in healthcare. This is for future you. So kind of like I mentioned, you know, let's say that you're a student and you've been very involved on campus, volunteer leadership, and you haven't had a part-time job or a professional experience in healthcare. Then you're going to want to split your clinical experience up into highlighted clinical experience and clinical experience. So like I said, I do want to see all 8 listed on the resume, but you won't have space to bullet point all 8. So if you're interested in going into medical surgical nursing, you might want to move that clinical from the clinical experience section with just the list of everything up to highlight it in its own section, and then use bullet points to explain the value or the impact of your work. Again, using that action, verb, task, impact outline. So I know that this is kind of convoluted. But when I think about your clinical experiences, just think you have to put all 8 on the resume. You can bullet point and highlight certain experiences if you would like to, because you need to do so in order to show that you have industry-specific experience. Or you can not bullet point your experiences and just list the title of the clinical, at the location of the hospital, and the dates. The next section of your resume is professional experience. So this is you can also call this work experience, and this is experience that you were paid for. So anything that you did for money can go in this section. This first example here, this student had experience as a patient care tech. So if I was working with this student, I would say to them, you know, let's focus the bullet points in this section because this is a professional experience that is in healthcare. Employers are going to find value in this. and maybe let's list your clinicals, just listing out all of them so that we can reserve the bullet points for this experience. They're using the action verb task impact formula to highlight, the skills that they're learning and the value and the experiences that they've had here. As you can see, these two experiences are listed differently. And I just did this for an example purposes. You would want to make sure that everything within a section is formatted the same. But these are just showing two ways that you can format professional experience. So in the first one, you see Crozier, and the location and the dates that the person worked for Crozier are all on one line, and then the student's title stands alone. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is if you're running out of space, you can put all of what I call the logistical information in one line. So RA, Widener, Chester, and then the dates. One thing I wanted to show here too with this resident assistant experience, although it's not directly related to healthcare, the way that this student is explaining their work as a resident assistant kind of sounds like something that you would want your nurse to be able to do. Like make sure that patients are safe and emotionally comfortable. Make sure that someone has some kind of conflict resolution experience, because I'm sure not every patient is going to be happy to do what you tell them to do. And then they're also explaining their educational experience with promoting seminars for their residents, which is helpful because there is a large portion of nursing that involves patient education. So you see this person did a pretty good job of taking a non-nursing experience and relating it to the healthcare environment through explaining transferable skills in a way that makes sense for healthcare. The last experience that I'm going to talk about in this video is volunteer. So you can call your section a volunteer experience section, or you see this person has service-focused experience. That works as well. In your volunteer experience section, you're going to explain using bullet points, just like a job, explaining the impact of your work. And you can also include in the volunteer experience section, it's anything that you didn't receive money for. So if you have had a job shadow within healthcare, that can go in this section. If you did an internship that was unpaid, that could go in this section as well. You see that this person kind of selected experiences that they acquired through volunteering that were also healthcare related. This individual is particularly interested in becoming a physical therapist. So these volunteer experiences not only show that this person is a good person and volunteers in their spare time, but also shows that they've had an interest in this field for a while and they're trying to gain experience through volunteering. This is just another example of volunteer experience. I want to focus on kind of the last example on the screen, where it's just very quickly explaining the name of the organization that you volunteered with, your title, and the dates. So if you're getting to the bottom of your resume and you're running out of space because maybe you've had a lot of directly related healthcare experience, you can list your volunteer experience in this way. So it doesn't take up space, it doesn't have any bullet points, but it shows the recruiter that you were involved in something other than just nursing classes and that you took the time to serve your community. One way to kind of get around the bullet points but still give the person an idea of what type of volunteering you did is to get creative with your title. So instead of listing every title as volunteer, you could list your title as, like the person did here, nursing assistant, mentor, science tutor, because then it kind of gives the reader an idea of what you did in order to serve that organization. Just like the end of all these other videos, I'm going to encourage you to keep editing your resume tool. So add your clinical experiences that you plan to be a part of this semester. You don't have to add bullet points at this time, especially if you haven't been there, because it's hard to explain your impact of something you haven't done yet. But add them, add any professional experience that you have, even if it's not directly related to healthcare. If you scooped ice cream for the last 3 summers down at the shore, that's totally something you can add to your resume. And you would just want to focus on the transferable skills you learned there, like working as a team, serving customers, it's the same as helping patients, and try and explain your impact in that way. If you have questions about this video, please jot them down right now. Just jot them down and file them away, and then you can bring them up when we do our Q&A session later in this semester. All right, guys, thanks for hanging in there with me, and I will see you in the next video.